Hi guys, my name's Emma and let's talk spooky stuff. So today I want to talk about Australian film. Australia is known for its beaches, its wildlife and its crazy people. We're a down-to-earth, honest, in-your-face type of people, and our movies aren't much different. Australians are proud of a lot of things, but what we're particularly proud of is the way we shaped cinema for the world. Did you know we're credited for the first known feature film? It was The Story of Ned Kelly in 1906. We produce amazing directors and flawless talent, and what people don't know about us is we also make amazing horror movies. And I've got a list today of some classics and some new school horrors that will give you something new to think about when you think of Australian film. The Tunnel. This is a hidden gem in my books. The film is about a TV journalist and a crew that are on a hunt for a story, which is meant to be a government conspiracy cover-up, and it leads them down to this network of train tunnels underneath the city. Then obviously crazy shit happens. Many people say that this movie mirrors the Blair Witch Project and has a few nods to it. The movie was released on this new type of marketing scheme where it was free to the public on BitTorrent in order to bring in a larger audience and reach a lot more people. I don't know if that was successful or not, but since 2011, I haven't seen many BitTorrent movies released. Long Weekend. I watched this movie in film school actually. We were made to watch it and I'm so glad because I really like this film. I feel like there should be a subgenre for when a group of people or maybe even a couple go on a weekend retreat away to be romantic and then they get attacked by somebody or something. What do you guys think that horror subgenre should be called? I think it should be called Long Weekend because this is the king of all of those movies. So a couple go away for a long weekend and pretty much disrespect nature in every form, and then nature turns on them. The clever thing about this film is when people think of Australia, they think of crocodiles and snakes and spiders and all the creepy, deadly stuff. And this movie is not about some deliverance type hicks coming and, doing awful stuff to them. It's about the nature turning on them, which is exactly what people think of Australia. So I think it's quite clever. There's no drop bears, unfortunately. But I think it really hit a mark on Australian culture and what other people think of us. I didn't know this, but apparently there's a remake of this film and it's a shot-by-shot replica. Another modern one, The Loved Ones. After a rejection to the prom, Lola takes revenge on Brent. She tortures and forces him to go to a prom of her own. In true Australian fashion, this one has been put in the brutal, gory, disgusting, sadistic subgenre and has been discounted by a lot of horror fans. I'm not saying it's none of those things because it pretty much is all of them, but that's what horror fans like, right? The lead actress for this film prepared her role by watching Misery, Natural Born Killers, and researching Jeffrey Dahmer. Picnic at Hanging Rock. At first, I was not going to include this one because it's more of a mystery, drama, psychedelic trip, but it literally scared the pants off a generation, or maybe two. The movie is about an all-girls school that go for an excursion to the Hanging Rock, and some of the students and a teacher go missing, and the people left behind are troubled and disturbed by their disappearance. I don't know about you, but I always thought it was a true story growing up. Apparently it wasn't. It was a book, and the person who wrote the book has never confirmed or denied that it was a true story, but I'm assuming it's not. The film has a really eerie, dreamlike vibe, and lots of people who worked on the film said they experienced strange things going on. Also, the executive producer of the film was so scared that she is quoted as saying that she'll never return. You can't have a list about Australian horror film without mentioning Wolf Creek. This movie is about a couple of tourist backpackers going across Australia and their trust is tested by a twisted bushman. This movie is very loosely based on a lot of murders of tourists in Australia. It's also known as one of the most brutal movies, not only in Australia but in the world, and many critics have refused to watch it, refused to review it, and walked out on screenings. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't think it was that gory. Razorback. Australian nature strikes again as a vicious wild boar takes over and terrorizes a small town. The husband of a victim teams up with a hunter and a farmer to hunt down the beast. So this one was almost funny, but I could totally see its appeal. A fun fact about this movie is a full-size animatronic boar was created for $250,000 and is only seen in the movie for 1 second. The Babadook. I love this movie. This was on a lot of people's musts of 2014 and a lot of people's least favorites of 2014. It really has some mixed reviews. It's about a relationship between a family after the father dies when the mother is about to give birth to the son, and the mother and son relationship and how it's tested because of the death of the father. The son develops this fear of monsters that overwhelms them and becomes too much for the mother, and she pretty much has to learn to live with her demons and learn to live with the dark side of life. Did you know this movie was only made with $30,000? and most of it went straight to the art department. But the $30,000 was also just raised from a Kickstarter. Also, did you know that Babadook is an anagram for a bad look? Patrick. After the death of his mother and her lover, Patrick lays in a coma in a small private hospital. His only action is involuntary spitting. After becoming infatuated with the nurse taking care of him, Patrick uses telekinesis-type abilities to harass and kill people in order to take the nurse as his own. This is actually written by the same person who wrote Long Weekend. And there is a 2013 remake starring Rachel Griffiths. The original was considered a disappointment to Australian box office, but a huge hit internationally. Okay guys, that's it. I hope I've given you something new to think about when you think of Australian horror. Let me know down below what I've missed and what your favourite Australian horror is. I'd love to hear about it. I hope you're having a great day and I'll see you guys later. Stay spooky. Okay, this movie is completely politically incorrect. It is not for the faint-hearted. It's actually pretty brutal and deals with some pretty brutal themes.